ये अजीब बोल रहे हो आप, you want to stay up in the universe, but this is your universe.
Yeah,
But this is the love of my life.
true.
I don't see her as a Big Boss contestant.
Sure.
And I was watching that episode and I just saw his that mooch wala look. I was like, who's this guy? For 1 month, I was very naggy. No, you want me. No, you want me that. Because I thought मैं जैसी थी, मैं
Yeah.
वैसी रहूँगी. But I forgot that I can't be in a relationship because I'm in a relationship with this man now.
There have been fingers pointed at us because of me being 46. She's almost like 14 years younger than me. So sometimes valid fingers, sometimes it's none of their business. I think Big Boss से निकलने के बाद है ना, लोग कुछ वक्त तक उस यूनिवर्स से दूर रहते हैं. बिकॉज वहाँ जो भी होता है हाइपर होता है, ओवर एस्केलेटेड होता है और ओवर एम्फसाइज्ड होता है. तो आपको जो हर्ट या ट्रॉमा या जो भी शब्द आपको यूज करना है यूज कीजिए, वो ओवर एस्केलेटेड है.
Hi everyone, this is Avinash Lohana and you're watching Pinkwilla. Whenever I see a guest, the first 3 words that come to my mind are solid, charming and committed. Please welcome the very handsome couple, Aijaz Khan and Pavitra Punya.
Thank you
Hi,
for your
guys.
kind words.
Let's start from the beginning. Do you guys remember your first impressions of each other?
Everything.
Everything.
Yes? Pavitra, we can start with you.
So first time I saw him, actually you want to be real?
Completely real.
I'll tell you, I did not see him for the first time in Big Boss.
Uh-huh.
So I saw him first time on Kapil Sharma show where he came to promote his show Momo Ke Dhage.
Yes.
And I was watching that episode and I just saw his that mooch wala look. I was like, who's this guy? This was my reaction and I was speaking with my manager. I was like, find out who's this guy. I need to talk to him.
Really?
Yeah. So I was really attracted
Yeah.
towards him with that look or the aura, the personality that he had that time.
Yeah.
Still, of course.
But then it changed and came to Big Boss.
But then after that, I saw him in Big Boss and talking about his first impression for me in Big Boss. I was like, dream come true.
Really?
He's here. Yeah.
No, but like
What
I
about
said,
my impressions about her?
Yes.
I think in the first week itself I said, yeah, hero and I'm a hero to hero. But yeah, I knew it. I felt the, I don't say chemistry, I don't know, energies, and I felt that we were of a certain age and we could understand each other. A little childish or maybe something like that.
But you know, Big Boss is a very tricky situation to fall in love with. We have seen so many people fall in love on the show, and then we have seen so many people don't make it.
It takes effort.
It takes efforts,
Hard work.
and you know, no relationship basically works without putting in efforts in there. But when you all fell for each other on the show, were you all worried that people will perceive this as a publicity stunt, or what if this doesn't work out in the outside
I think
world?
people in the show itself said it, that ये कैमरा दिखता है तो प्यार करना शुरू करते हैं or something like that.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
We used to sit all by ourselves near the smoking section or something and we used to have our fun. We used to have our fights also.
Sure.
We still do.
So inside the show, yes, he's right. We like when we used to hear. तो he was somewhat उनको फर्क नहीं actually पड़ता था कौन क्या बोल रहा है, but I used to be very touchy कि क्या बोल रहे हैं. Fewer times I heard that people in-house contestants saying कि content के लिए they're fighting और content के लिए now they are getting cozy,
Yeah.
hugging each other, talking कुछ करके. तो वो बहुत hurtful होता था. But honestly अंदर ये नहीं पता था that बाहर audience भी वो perceive कर रही होगी that we are fitting it. Why? Because अंदर जो contestants हैं वो सुन रहे हैं बाहर audience उन लोगों को और वो लोग उसी हिसाब से चले देते हैं faking it. And ये अभी भी हम दोनों उस चीज को सुनते हैं. Still there are people, if I say
After
in
2
a
years now.
percentage,
1 year.
1 year.
2021, sorry.
Yeah,
1 year, 1 month.
1 year, 1 month.
Wow, you all remember that correctly.
Yes.
She doesn't let me forget.
Still there is, if I talk about a percentage, there are still people 20 to 25% who say it is still we are
You'll still
faking
get
it.
that.
Yes.
Wow. You know, but I always believe सी बिग बॉस का घर, आप घर में हो, सारा टाइम एक दूसरे के साथ स्पेंड कर रहे हो, तो इट ऑटोमेटिकली ऑल टेंड टू लाइक गेट अट्रैक्टेड टू ईच अदर, बट आई थिंक द रियल रिलेशनशिप चैलेंज must have started after you all stepped out. What was that challenge like? How did you all deal with that?
Let me hear her side first.
Quite frankly and honestly, a very sincere answer, it was very difficult. It is still very difficult because we have spent the age we have like years with ourselves, with what we are and how we have built ourselves, and how even audience have, you people have also seen us in Big Boss house,
Yes.
that we had very cut to cut, very strong headed opinions that we are going to stick to it. I am going to stick to it. He's going to stick to it. So that game is over there. We were there because it was important, because we had to be the way we are. Now coming in a relationship, molding yourself according to other person because of the adjustments, the needs of that person, needs of each other.
Yeah.
It is very difficult.
It is.
It is very challenging, and it was. When we came out, I thought, so for 1 month, I was very nagging. No, you want to do, no, you want to do that. Because I thought मैं जैसी थी, मैं
Yeah.
वैसी रहूँगी. But I forgot that this, I can't be in a relationship because I'm in a relationship with this man now. You know, he's my man that I call. And there he was my co-contestant.
Yeah.
And there was no stamp that we entered as a couple, so we were behaving, so that's okay. No. Now I have to merge in. And that 1 month was very difficult for him. That 1 month when he came out was very difficult for me to adjust, exchange our thoughts. वो जिद्दीपन, वो हटीपन के नहीं मुझे करना है, नहीं तुम ये नहीं कर सकते, तो या थोड़ी डिफ़िकल्टी थी. और 2 महीने मुझे लगे शुरुआत के बाहर निकल के सीखने के बाद, पूरा जनवरी फरवरी पूरा ऑलमोस्ट मार्च के, आई हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड हिज पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. नाउ देयर इज नो गेम, देयर इज नो फाइट, एंड देयर इज नो प्रूविंग राइट. It
Do you
has
think
to be
it has,
us.
if, you know, you all are improving in that sense with each other?
Everyday basis. We
Sure.
won't even say कि कभी-कभी या
I'm
फिर
still figuring out.
we are.
I'm still figuring out.
Sure. But you know, like, I completely agree with
No, I'm still figuring out about what she said. Sorry, let me
Yeah.
elaborate about adjusting, about molding each other. I have always felt that you have to be yourself, you have to be your true self, even especially in a relationship. And I try to portray it as open communication, but sometimes it becomes hurtful.
Yeah.
Sometimes it becomes like, why do you have to keep nitpicking? Why do you have to talk about this? Then I'm like, if I don't talk about this, it will snowball into something else, and eventually we will talk about something, and these 20 things will be behind.
Yeah.
So we are figuring out each
Yeah.
other. I mean, I'm still figuring out.
Yeah.
And
It's a long way. I
It
think
is.
till the end it is going to be like
so eventually, what matters is if there is love,
Yeah.
you don't give up.
And I don't think as a couple you ever really figure each other out. It's always a process which will keep
that.
continuing.
You see our parents still.
Exactly.
They cannot figure themselves, each other out, what they
Exactly.
want. I see my mother fighting with my father
Yeah.
every week,
Yeah.
twice, saying, तुम्हें पता नहीं चला था कि मुझे ये चाहिए.
Yeah.
Like, we are going to have kids.
Correct.
And they still talk like that.
Yeah. Also, I have to ask you, another challenge in your equation would be a lot of people would have asked you about the age gap. There must be religion that must have been spoken about. It's a very personal thing to you all. And when people get into it and you know they have opinions on that, how do you deal with that, all that noise that comes your way? And did you all discuss these things among yourselves as well?
We do. The normal.
Absolutely.
So we discuss everything. There have been fingers pointed at us because of leaving 46. She's almost like 14 years younger than me. Sometimes valid fingers, sometimes it's none of their business.
Yes.
And if they made it their business and they're speaking from a space of care, I could acknowledge that. But most
Sure.
of the time it's nobody's business. We'll figure it out. When it comes to religion, लोगों को शायद कम काम है जो हमारे इंस्टाग्राम पर या जो भी आके विशेष टिप्पणियाँ छोड़ जाते हैं.
छोड़ के जाते हैं.
तो बहुत तो कभी कभी बुरा भी लगता है, लेकिन आई थिंक मैं वो इंसल्ट्स को या उस स्टुपिडिटी को ऐसे लेता हूँ कि कोई मुझे कुछ दे रहा है और अगर मैं उसे नहीं ले रहा तो मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ना चाहिए, तो मैं इग्नोर कर देता हूँ। हाँ, कभी if it's directed towards her in a very bad way, then my blood boils, then मुझे लगता है कि मैं रिएक्ट करूँ क्या, फिर मैं उसको ज़्यादा अटेंशन दे रहा हूँ, I mean नेगेटिव अटेंशन ही चाह रहे हैं वो, तो दूँ क्या, तो नहीं करता हूँ। See, those are fans and supporters and everything. Now when it comes to our family,
Yeah.
those are the people that matter,
Yeah.
and none of them have an issue.
Really? Beautiful. But you know, like it's 2022. I can't believe religion is still a point of concern for me.
Let's really not talk about it because it is indeed a very sensitive topic. It
Sure.
is very sensitive to us also
Of course.
when people comment like this. Ijaz is anyway very stronger in these things. Actually, let's go. Like people talk, it is not their business. And I know somewhere he also gets hurt somewhere.
Yes,
That's
of
why it is the way he said it's none of your business.
True.
And I also get sensitive. But yeah, coming back to the age point, yes, age-wise, I have that mentality somewhere that there is a reason that a woman since ages, since so many years, centuries, why women are always younger than a man and why a man has to be more mature.
Yeah.
So I think in this thing, for me, it's a win-win situation that I have got a really mature man.
Yeah.
And trust me, girls, it's really a win-win situation. Like 14 years elder to me and peaceful.
Lovely.
He knows way better. So I think it is okay and age is not at all an issue for us.
Also, relationships also come with its own baggages, right? And baggages can be defined in many terms. I want to ask you, when you all come together, and we try to heal ourselves from those baggages, but it's always not possible alone. But when you meet a partner, they help you in the process. You all have your own baggages from the past, you all have had relationships which didn't work out. When you all came together, did you all help each other in that process to heal? Have you all found that space with each other?
Ongoing process. It's an ongoing
It
process.
is still, yes.
Sure.
Because no offense to anyone, because people have their own ideas and people have their own values in regards to accepting someone's past.
Yeah.
But I'll talk about myself only. It is very difficult for me. Like I know this happened.
Yeah.
It's a past thing. But past in Hindi it is called bhoot. Oh, bhoot. It has a work of scaring you all the time. It will never leave you.
Yeah. Does it happen with you guys?
I'm just giving an example. So, वो भूत आता है आपको डराने कभी ना कभी. हो सकता है भूत आपके सिर्फ दिमाग में हो. हमने भूत देखा नहीं है, लेकिन हमें डर लगता है भूत से. So for me, that past is that भूत जो मुझे डराता है. So for me, I'll talk gently and yes, strongly also that for me it is very difficult. Still, but yes, have to be understanding enough that it is past. It could be in my head.
Sure.
हो सकता है ऐसा है ही नहीं, जैसा मैं समझ रही हूँ. And why this feeling comes? Because I love it.
Wow, how beautifully explained. Yes. Ijaz, you have to top this now.
Beautifully explained, but I face the brunt of it.
Yeah, because I'm possessive.
I understand the point of view. I have come to accept it. Earlier, I used to contest it a lot. Earlier, I used to be very. अगर ऐसा नहीं है, तो आप ऐसा क्यों सोच रही हो? I understand where she's coming from. Most of the time, we are trying to heal our own traumas.
Yes.
And most of the time, you started by saying that this healing journey is self. You start healing yourself. And somebody else comes along, being your partner, being anyone, and is supportive to it.
Yeah.
They cannot heal you. What I learned in this relationship is I can be a sounding board, I can lend an understanding ear, but I'm not supposed to come up with solutions.
Sure.
Because most of the time you're sharing things to be heard. I'm figuring that out now. Because मैं ना solution oriented, you tell me घर पर पानी नहीं है, मैं जाके 2 बोतल लेके आऊँगा. मुझे ये नहीं सुनना है कि 2 घंटे पहले ऐसे हुआ था, वैसे हुआ था, वैसे हुआ.
हाँ.
मैं भी शायद वैसे कभी behave करता हूँ. But healing each other's traumas is still an ongoing process. Still हम जब झगड़ते हैं, when I sit back and reflect, I feel that okay, the way she was treating me was more of a reflection of what she's feeling inside. Or I reflect on what triggered me. Why did I scream and react like this? तो वो मुझे trigger किया, तो वो heal होना ज़रूरी है. That is what I need to do. So I'm figuring that.
I'm sure we will along the way. All of us will. yesterday you put out, I saw some interview actually, which you also reposted on Instagram, where you said Big Boss triggers you.
Yeah.
Why does that happen?
आई थिंक बिग बॉस से निकलने के बाद है ना, लोग कुछ वक्त तक उस यूनिवर्स से दूर रहते हैं बिकॉज वहाँ जो भी होता है हाइपर होता है, ओवर एस्केलेटेड होता है और ओवर एम्फसाइज्ड होता है. तो आपको जो हर्ट या ट्रॉमा या जो भी शब्द आपको यूज़ करना है यूज़ कीजिए, वो ओवर एस्केलेटेड है.
Sure.
बाहर आके एक हीलिंग प्रोसेस होता है. Unfortunately, I'm not speaking for her behalf, I'm speaking on my behalf. Unfortunately, when I came out to shoot. I was going back in,
Yes, correct.
right?
Yeah.
So I kind of kept in touch with what was going on.
हाँ.
बाद में I realized that ठीक है, I might not be going. मुझे closure नहीं मिला उधर. मैं अभी भी जा रहा था, जाने वाला हूँ.
Speculation.
क्या हुआ? अभी भी मुझे ड्रीम्स आते हैं उसके बारे में
अच्छा.
कि मैं कोई को कंटेस्टेंट से बात कर रहा हूँ, उसने मुझे बोला तुझे अभी भी समझ में नहीं है, टास्क शुरू हो चुका है, ऐसा कुछ. और व्हाई ट्रिगर्स मी, इट्स नॉट इन माय हैंड्स. होता है तो होता है. तो कॉन्शियसली. और क्या हुआ, हम बाहर निकले, हम लॉकडाउन खेल रहे हैं. शी एंड मी.
Correct.
कितने दिनों तक हम एक घर में फंसे रहे हैं
Yeah.
जब लॉकडाउन था. तो एनर्जी को एक्सटर्नलाइज होने के लिए कुछ आउटलेट नहीं था. I'm sure she's been through the same thing.
Yeah.
Or she's a different person and she's dealt with it in a different way. But me, वो जो एक दुनिया के साथ नॉर्मल सी आनी थी ना, वो नहीं है.
अच्छा.
अभी हम बाहर जाके मिले. कल रात को हम बाहर गए थे. मैंने BSC में देखा, यार इतने 200 लोग हैं. ऐसे लगा यार इतने वक्त के बाद हम देख रहे हैं लोगों को.
Yeah.
तो अभी वो शुरू हो रहा है. बीच में भी थोड़ा हुआ था बट हम स्टिल लॉकडाउन में चले गए.
Correct.
स्टिल वो सब
डर
हो
भी
रहा
था
था.
लोगों को.
हाँ. और शुक्ला's dead.
Yes, you mentioned it. It comes in your dreams as well.
So these things, ठीक है, होता है. कुछ लोगों को होता है, कुछ लोगों को नहीं होता है. मुझे होता है. मुझे शायद क्लोजर नहीं मिला होगा. मुझे शायद हमेशा यही लगेगा कि मेरी जर्नी अधूरी रही. स्पेकुलेशन ये है कि भाई ये अजीब बोल रहे हो आप, यू वांट टू स्टे अप इन द यूनिवर्स बट दिस इज योर यूनिवर्स.
Yeah.
But this is the love of my life.
True.
I don't see her as a Big Boss contestant.
Sure.
So
Promo moment.
so there is no comparison there.
Yeah.
कभी-कभी हम एक दूसरे को भी बोलते हैं अभी ये बिग बॉस चल रहा है करके, but we realize that we are way past that.
Correct.
But unfortunately, I haven't been able to go way past with a lot of other things. That is why.
You mentioned Siddharth Shukla. She's also worked with him. How do you remember him today?
Okay, don't ask this question because that is I don't know. So whenever somebody asks me, even in my last interview also with someone, they asked me about Siddharth. It is a very difficult thing to say anything about him. Just few things you can't utilize the words to say, but he has left a very big impact in everyone's life. In a very good way, yes.
He has.
So, he's a legend. He's idol. You can't really explain how that person was when you call them idol, when you call them a legend. He'll always be in my heart, our heart, actually. So yeah, miss him when we see the pictures and everything. My fans, they DM me with my show pictures with him. I don't even feel like to repost them because that is a very sensitive thing.
Yeah.
So, ठीक है. And I tell you what, it's a very strange thing that I see. No offense to anyone, and still if they want to take it, they can take it. I have seen people actually, when he's not even there, using his name, getting in touch with his family, just so that उसका जो fan base है, वो उसकी तरफ, उन लोगों की तरफ attract हो.
Really?
Yeah, and they try and come in the good books. Very bad. Don't do that because it seems, is it a genuine effort or is it just to gain something out of it?
Yeah.
So just advise it, don't do that. It's a very sensitive topic, very sensitive thing to a woman who loved him to the core. That is a mother.
Yeah.
There's no man in the family.
Yeah.
He didn't have a father.
Yes.
Brought up with all the ladies in the house and then met a woman. It is a sensitive thing, so I think people should actually stop doing that and accept the things that he's no more here, but he's still there in our heart.
He
And
is.
don't use the name again and again. What about you?
He was like a younger brother to me.
Yeah.
I like to spoil him over there.
Really?
Yeah, he was way younger than me. But of course, he was my senior, so I had to behave that way. Initially, he tried his level best to be pitted against me, and I just look at him. मेरे साथ ऐसा क्यों बोल रहा है? मैंने तो कुछ गलत नहीं किया.
Remember.
And then I realized it was a game. I was like, यार तेरे साथ मैं game नहीं खेलूँगा. I looked up to him.
Yeah.
I looked up to his understanding of the game.
Baby, sorry. He used to actually make him धो कपड़े.
Really?
He used to do that with all the love कि ठीक है भाई करता हूँ.
I like spoiling my kid brothers. I have a
Yeah.
brother Harsh. I have my
And
other
he had
younger
his way
brothers.
to get things done. That way.
He would always say respectfully.
Yeah.
मेरे को मालूम है तू सीनियर है. मेरे को मालूम है वो उसकी इज्जत करता हूँ. He used to always say that. I don't know if they showed it or not. And anyway, whatever a part of the game was, I understood my game of Big Boss from him.
Yeah.
I tried to emulate him. I tried to understand from his perspective sometimes when I got stuck in the game. And eventually it became a part of the way I would play the game. Because unfortunately मैं इतना arrogant था कि Big Boss जाने से पहले मैंने Big Boss के कुछ एपिसोड नहीं देखे.
अच्छा.
मुझे लगा हाँ मैं खेलूँगा. अरे यार टास्क शुरू होता था मुझे समझ में नहीं आया. I will always feel bad that I came out and I didn't connect with him. I have realized that his life is too short.
It is.
You only have today.
I think that's the lesson we all learned at that point. And I'd met him a couple of times. Didn't know him as a friend. But it took me a while to come out of it. So you all knew him. I can just imagine the situation you guys.
तुमको मालूम है जब हम पहली बार इवेक्ट हुए थे ना तो all us contestants had to choose a particular team. गौहर की एक टीम थी, हिना की एक टीम थी, सिद्धार्थ की एक टीम थी. Pavitra and I chose Siddharth to be in his team. Only 3 people in his team.
Achha.
Pitted against everyone. And we didn't lose that task. Though we still got evicted. We didn't lose that task.
And
we
the
came back.
way he fought when the
Yes.
buzzer thing was there, the way he fought, he had put his life there, fighting with 2 very strong contestants there. He was shouting for us. And because he was not going to play, he was fighting for
Fighting for us.
Yeah.
Us. That
And you know what he
thing that
said?
man had.
जाने से पहले last thing he said, तुम तीनों ये गेम को चला रहे हो.
तुम तीनों?
ये गेम को चला रहे हो. इनको शर्म आनी चाहिए. Imagine that's the last bloody thing he said to us. We got evicted, he left. I haven't seen him after that.
He's a definition of warrior for sure, in many ways and not. We're talking about him, which means we love him. Let's talk about love a little more.
Yeah.
You know, if you all have to describe your love for each other in one word, I know it's difficult. What will that be?
Fine.
Fire. That's an interesting choice, but I want to ask why.
Because it constitutes passion. It is uncontrollable sometimes, and it can just as well destroy, and we know that. What would you say?
Faith.
Faith. Wow.
That is keeping us going. Otherwise, if faith is not there, faith is commitment for me. So if that is
No,
not
what
there,
he asked was what you would describe our relationship as,
faith.
not what is keeping us going.
Faith.
You would say it's faith.
Faith.
That's a great choice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you guys have like these plans for Valentine's Day? Are you like that Valentine's Day celebration
I
couple?
asked him, please take me somewhere, and I think he's planning something.
He is? तो मैं details तो पूछ नहीं सकता.
Yeah, he said it's a
Kind
surprise.
of. We might go out of town for some.
Wow, that's the best way to celebrate with each other, alone somewhere. But you know, guys, thank you for this conversation. I love you guys. This was as real as it could get,
Thank you.
and thank you for doing this with me.
A pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.